Hello Nigerians, we're out here again. It is a newspaper review here on TAF TV, where we give you the opportunity to see and hear the reactions of Nigerians regarding every single headlines as it keeps unfolding. Hey yo, Keme is my name. Like, you know how we do it? Let's first look into the headlines and see what the headline has for us today. First on our headline, we're considering the Punch. And the bold headline on the Punch here says, Edo poll, PDP demands fresh collection as Labour Party, Akpata alleges fraud. Details of that is found on page 2. Sub-story under the Punch says, why federal government must end petrol subsidy now, says Dangote. Details of that is found on page 31 of the Punch. National Assembly resumes today, demands 2025 budget. Details of that is found on page 16. A very interesting story here on page 39. It says, Pro-Fubara, local government caretaker chairman, dump PDP for APP. Quite an interesting story here on page 39 of the Punch. Moving on, we're seeing 100 arrested in Delta Yahoo training school. Read. Details of that is found on page 4. And lastly, we're seeing on page 39, it says $3.5 billion Bakare seaport construction begins soon. Details of that is found on page 31. Alright, up next we're considering the nations. And the bold headline on the nation says, federal government approved tax relief to boost business and employment. Details of that is found on the front page of the nation. Sub-story under the nation says, Ohaneze hails Southeast governors, security architecture. Details of that is found on page 2. No judgment stopping October 5th. Council poll in Rivers, says RISIEC. Details of that is found on page 5. Baru Tusumi, 12 top NNPP members who have joined APC with hundreds of their supporters. You can read that up on page 8 of the nations. APC wins 27 council in Imo is found on page 5. The nation law sector, details of that is found on page 15 and page 19 of the nations. Alright, lastly for today we're considering the New Telegraph. And the bold headline on the New Telegraph says, flooding. Federal Executive Council set up committee to reassess Alua Dam. Others float disaster relief fund. Details of that is found on page 2, 28 down to page 30. Alright, now on page 7 of the New Telegraph it says, Dangote, time right to end fuel subsidy. Like I earlier said, you can read that up on page 7 of the New Telegraph. Previous admin never thought it wise to develop FCT satellite towns, says Wiki. Details of that is found on page 2. Sub-story still on page 2. It says, reoccurring building collapse, economic losses to the nation. Details of that is found on page 2. Court dismisses suit seeking Ganduje's sack as APC chair is still found on page 2. Federal government approves national citizens value budget in schools, national symbols. Details of that is found on page 29. Alright, that's all we'll be taking regarding the headlines that are making rounds this very day. Now let's into the streets and hear the reactions of Nigerians. Do well to stay tuned. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, now quickly on the point, it says, why federal government must end petrol subsidy now? Dangote. Now, I want you to actually take it from this angle. Do you think Dangote is cheating Nigerians, just like most Nigerians are speculating? Since they said he will sell fuel at $9.50, do you think he's cheating Nigerians?
Dangote is not cheating Nigeria. What Dangote is doing is right. Anybody increasing property because of the way he buy the property. If you look at the country today, you will see that we always be available of selling our product to outsider to come and sell to us the insider. For we to produce our own before we sell it, then you know that the thing will be cost. Just like if you pay transport to America, if the transport take you to go and do business of 10 million, you will increase your money up to 11 million naira so that you get your feeding and your transport back. So the way we supply Dangote a lot of things, and amount of the fuel price. That is how Dangote will increase his own thing to get his gain. That's what I say there. So Dangote is not cheating us. If we want the country to be good, then we will tell the country, we the indigenous of the country, let us lower our price of things the way we are selling to marketers. If not, the marketer will keep on increasing their own. You cannot buy something of 10,000, then you say that you sell it 9,000. Your market will be crashed. I'm a businessman also. Then in the way of things, if we can be able to minimize the way we collect from people, then everything will be good to everybody. That is what I see.
Okay, now from what Dangote is saying on this paper, that it is time for federal government to end fuel subsidy. But a few months ago, our president told us that fuel subsidy has ended. So with these happenings now, do you think it is really true that fuel subsidy has ended?
Yes, fuel subsidy will end if they can reduce the price of selling to Dangote or selling to the marketers.
So all the blame is to the federal government now?
Yes, all the blame is in the federal government, from the seller of this our federal government. Me and you are the one to reduce our own aim. It's just be like in politics today. What did make our politics is dying today because why? We do campaign a lot of billions. Okay. Now, if you come out to do a campaign, people say, even though you don't want to spend money, people will push you to spend money. In campaign, so many people buy land and build house. When you are selling your birthright, then you think that if I spend 1 billion and enter it, then I will be cripple my hand and watch you and waste my life. No, I go there for my own purpose of me and my children. So if I go there and you collected 10 million to do campaign, then you know that I will collect it up to 11 million to do everything. So if we want the country to be good, we the poor people, the most of the country, the sovereign of this country is the thief of the members of the country. If we can be able to fold our hands not to collect money and campaign to people. When I was a little baby, we don't see this campaign of a thing that taking billions. So many people does not take money. If you watch outside country campaign, they don't spend money for campaign. They only do rally. Many people volunteer themselves at the time of the day that they will get chance and do rally and walk on the street, print paper and write paper and do banner and walk on the street. Tell people that this is the person we want to vote for, this is the person we want. It does not cost anything. Then in Nigeria here, we want the person to kill himself, bring billions. Now the good people are there to come up, but they don't want to bribe. So in that case, they refuse to come out and they cannot be able to win because why? The money that they will value to bring, it brings a lot of problems into your family and your life. And you'll be able to see that riot begin to come out. Why? Because the other person that paid the riot too. Then if we can be able to do a politics without bribing people and bringing campaign of billions. If you want to bring paper and come and vote for you, without nobody asks of money, without pushing anybody, you will see that the country will be good. Because when I enter seat, just like now, when somebody carry for a vehicle free and go to your marketplace, the way you sell the market that day was a big difference. So if they enter there with the freedom, they will do better than better.
Okay. So at this point, you're saying we Nigerians are our problem?
We are the problem of this country because the way we collected money from people, it is the thing that make pushing people to make their own money. Yes, so we have already sold our birthright, so we don't need to complain. Let us endure the waiting we are pushing ourselves into. So if we continue pushing ourselves to push people to be bringing money, it's a part of stealing. We are stealing. No matter so many people come to church and say, I sow it. You, the pastor, does not ask. Say, governor, you are sowing up to 50 million. Then you know that your salary is not up to 50 million. Then where do you get this money? We don't need this money. Take it back and do well. You see that 2 or 3 governors will blame themselves. They will not go to church. They will go to Abalis. The same thing, Abalis will tell them. Say, where are you bringing this money from? When your people are dying. When we do like this up to 2 or 3 people, then you see that the country will be changing.
Lastly, I want you to also, you have actually spoken so well that I am so impressed. I would like you to address the issue of flooding in Borno State and federal government response to natural disaster. Do you think most times our federal government tends to play politics on natural things, just like the flooding. Now they are saying on the paper that they are about to set a committee to address the issue of flooding and the dam. Do you think this committee is early, or do you think it would have been something that would have been done beforehand?
Yes, and that issue is that when the federal government what the federal government supposed to do is to go to the churches in that place, in that state, and begin to interview these churches, and the churches supposed to tell them the problem of the places. Then they go to each villages where the flood are affected and ask them what and what do you people need. Whether do you need drainage or whether do you need this and that, then they will be able to know. Then when they know, then they'll be able to create that problem and make sure that they solve the problem one and for all. So that the next year, because every year is coming, flood will still come. So if we can be able to do something, if you want to uproot tree, uproot it from the roots, no cut the leaves. You don't kill the tree. If you cut the leaf of a tree, you have never started to kill tree. So you must uproot it from the root. So in that case, let them go to the villages where the flood are affected and check by themselves and still ask the chief of the village. What can you people need to stop the flood? And they will take them to several places where the flood is affecting and show them, see where and where our flood are affecting and see where and where it come through. Then they can be able to solve one or two problems, so that next year we cannot be experiencing everything.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you around.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Now, quickly on the New Telegraph, it says flooding. Federal Executive Council set up committee to reassess a lower dam, others, and flood disaster. Now, this is still in regards to our government response to the last flooding that we had in Borno State. Now, the big question is, do you think this committee that is about to set up to reassess is actually timely?
Well, it is good to set up committee to curb this issue of flooding, but I am of the opinion that the committee should have been set up before now, so that we will not have the cases of the Maiduguri flood and some other cases we have in Nigeria. You see, one thing about Nigerian government is responsive to issues. Quick response to issues. The very moment we keep silence on issue that matters, the day we start experiencing our doom. I think being the federal government has been responsive to this issue of flooding we have in Nigeria. We will not be experiencing cases of flooding in Maiduguri and in some other states. And again, flooding is a natural disaster that it is expected, but there are ways to prevent it. Prevention is better than cure. If government can set up agencies like the National Emergency Agency should be working. They should set up volunteers. International organizations, they should call for international organizations, set up volunteers that will fight against this issue of flooding and to some extent curb the effect of flooding. There should be some a kind of arrangement. There should be a proper drainage system in Nigeria. There should be a proper drainage system, then proper sanitation. When you look around some big cities in Nigeria, you see there are no proper drainage. Even the sanitation is so poor, whereby there is refuse all over the cities, especially in River State. So government should make sure the Ministry of Environment across the Federal Ministry of Environment, Ministry of State Ministry of Environment must all address this issue of flooding to make sure the environment is safe for everyone.
Now, did you think our government are actually playing politics when it comes to responding to things? They actually wait for things to happen so that it looks as if they are actually working. Do you think there's some level of political gimmicks in their response?
Yes. There are a lot of political gimmicks, because before now the federal government ought to have set up this committee, but because of politics, so that people will appreciate probably they are doing something or probably they are not working. We should not allow things to happen before we provide solutions to it. We must be able to provide workable and practical solutions to solve problems, not even when the problem is at the detriment of the citizen. But we should provide solution. Prevention is better than cure, like I said earlier. we should be more proactive in terms of preventing certain occurrences rather than working towards the cure. When we work towards prevention, we will not have a problem. So the federal government should stop playing politics on issues that matters. Thank you.
Especially natural issues. All right, now let's not look as if we are pointing it to the government when it has to do with environmental factors. Do you, what role do you think the very common man on the street, especially here in Port Harcourt, we know littering the environment is like a common thing here. Do you think, what do you think the common man on the streets can do to contribute to the quota that the governments are doing?
Well, as you all know, nation building is a collective effort. Both the government and the citizens will be needed to fight, to curb flooding. What do I mean by that? Even the common citizens, common Nigerians, the Nigerians, when you are going, you don't drop refuse where you are not supposed to drop refuse. There are some certain areas we should have an incinerators. I think the government to some extent provided some places whereby you can drop your refuse. You don't drop refuse, you don't block the sewage, then we should just maintain, the citizens should maintain a clean and healthy environment.
Thank you very much. All right, we've come to the end of our newspaper review here on TAF TV. Just like every single Nigerians out here, you also can be part of the show. Why not slide into our comment sections and drop your reactions regarding the headlines that are making around this very day. Hey, okay, it's my name. Do well to take care of yourself.